just being made over the PA that a very special guest is here to toss the coin. I've only got to look at him and I start laughing. You can have a look at him in the wide shot, you can see why we start laughing. But he's been fantastic since coming out here. Came out here a few weeks ago, went back again. One of the great comedians, Jerry Lewis. You love him, Matty, don't you?
I certainly do, Sandy. I think he's an absolute classic. And just look at him. And still going strong at 72 or whatever it is. And fantastic.
Hello, Dipper.
Hello, Jerry.
This could be a nightmare.
Mate. Great to see you.
Jason Ball tossing the coin today because he's playing his 100th game. Just testing the coin. I think he said to Peter Carey too, no marks from you today either.
He can't help himself. He doesn't realise we're on national TV.
I think he does.
For it. I think he does, obviously. What a great man he is.
Here we go. It's
Jason calling heads. Heads it is. So the West Coast Eagles on a series.
Hey, Jerry!
Winning the toss. And we might hear from Jerry. Here he is with Dipper. Dip.
Welcome back to Australia, Jerry.
Thank you.
Now, you got a few shows here in Brisbane at the moment. Hello. Yeah, just do this interview for me for one moment. The umpires want a photo.
Let's get him, Dipper.
All right, we'll get in here. Jerry, this way. Come on, boys. I don't think Jerry understands that the toss has been done. Yeah, fantastic.
Actually, we understand he went to the chairman's lunch. I think he went there fairly early.
He's actually was presented with a #1 Guernsey for the Brisbane Lions today, and #1 G. Lewis.
Get a picture, shoot it. It's done.
And Dipper just happens to be in the photo.
That's the rating.
How do you get a Brownlow medal, boys? Just see around the umpires.
You are very slow.
He's away. For someone over 70, he does look remarkably well, Matthew.
And still hamming it up.
So Jerry leaves the ground.
Just on the ground, Sandy, it's obviously all the rain we've had here in Brisbane. Lee was saying that it rained all night last night, all day yesterday, and it's very, very dead. So the players have to work very, very hard to get some bounce out of this ground today, Sandy.
Thank you, Dipper. So umpire Martin Ellis is in charge. Crackers Keating will be contesting this opening ruck duel. He's been very, very good stepping into the shoes of Matthew Clark. Look at that thump by Keating, who really has become a goal-kicking ruckman. Pushed wide towards Matera, stolen by Voss, gets the quick hand pass in towards Champion, down towards the forward line. They charge at it, where Punda defends, but only defends a short way because the mark has been taken by Luke Power.
Well, Power last week down at Waverley Park against St Kilda, Sandy, really lacked a lot of confidence in his own ability to have a shot at goals, and was continuing looking to palm it off. So I would have thought that this week he would have done quite a deal of goal scoring. He kicked a couple there 2 weeks ago, and a good start here for him now if he can slot this one through for his own confidence.
3 goals for the season. Starts that left, coming back, but not enough. First score on the board is the behind to the Brisbane Lions, going into this game without Jason Ackermanis. Daniel Bradshaw withdrawing from the 22 because of flu. And the weather here, who can blame him?
And with Ashley McIntosh there at full back, Jared Malloy's at full forward, and Justin Lepich is at full back for the Lions. Alistair Lynch is on the interchange bench.
McIntosh wants Glenn Jakovic. Doesn't find him. Keating, good interception to allow Power through off to Ashcroft. Centering kick in towards half forward. Smashing over the top was Todd Holmes, pushing the ball down, but suddenly it's back in towards McRae. Couldn't take it. Johnson snaps away to the left and pops through another behind.
Sandy, just to keep up to date with the benches down here, Brisbane Lions, we have Alistair Lynch, Brett Voss, Craig Lambert and Bo McDonald. And for West Coast Eagles, we have Chris Mainwaring, Drew Banfield, Philip Reid and Laurie Bellotti.
Thanks, Dip.
Thanks very much, Dipper. Again, Ashley McIntosh to kick in. A good quick start by the Lions. Their attack on the ball looks good early. West Coast looking to settle in. Strong zone by the Lions. 12 players involved in it. Again, Jakovic the target. Floating across Chris Scott. Can't quite take it. Power. Quickly to Ashcroft. Easily. Has champion and uses him. Champion from 50. We know how much he loves to kick a goal. Centres it across the front of the goals. White almost up. It's still in. Malloy with him, McIntosh. Quick handball to McRae. McRae snap around the body. It goes high. It goes towards Keating. The big man's up. He couldn't get it. Cousins down. Met heavily as he kicked it. Free. No, play on. Knocked forward. Outside the 50 now. Here's Ashcroft. He's been involved early, getting some possessions. Stephen Lawrence around Matera. Lawrence to 53. Goes long. Stephen Lawrence. It's the first. Great start. Stephen Lawrence gets his first. It's come all the way down from the back line. With him is Adam Huskus. And Terry, the Lions look the goods. I know it's early, but they've come out ready to play.
Well, the most impressive part, Matthew, is just their ability to be able to structure up and hold the ball in their forward line. More often than not, sides against the back line of the West Coast Eagles succumb to the run of the Eagles out of defence, but that hasn't been able to be generated at all here in these opening minutes. The Lions have stood very strongly at half forward, keeping the ball in their full forward line.
Lions have only won a couple of times against the West Coast Eagles in some 20 attempts. Keating again, winning it out of the middle. Michael Voss with skill and strength combined. The kick from Black goes down towards the half-forward line. Jumping Johnson takes the mark, and they are fired up. Johnson's outside 50. In towards full forward. Big pack of players. Braun maybe first to it, heading towards the boundary line, and more than content to see it over as he's hassled by Nigel Lappin, who hasn't missed a game with the Brisbane Lions this year.
He's certainly got some spring in his heels, hasn't he, Chris Johnson? And it's just that excitement that he can bring into the forward line. He has kicked a bag of 5 this year, as has Jared Malloy and Darryl White and McRae. So they have got the goal scorers.
Hand pass was good as it's wobbled in towards Wirapunda. He defends again to the outer side. High and wide. Keating almost the mark. It's been a positive start by him. Ashcroft waiting for it. Now he's got it. Pops out the hand pass but needs support. Picked up by Jakovic. And the Eagles are out of trouble. Back towards the centre it goes now. The race is on in the middle. The bouncing ball. That centre has been covered, so it's pretty hard. Scott can't take it cleanly. O'Brien can't either, nor Voss. He goes again. Jakovic taken out of it. Umpire's letting this go on. Chris Scott picks it up. Well smothered, however. Flicked out the back. An opportunity now. Rintoul couldn't take it. Hart's away, but there's been some holding on. Rintoul's going to get the free kick.
Well, they certainly need it. At this early stage, Sandy, the Lions have had 22 disposals. This will just be the 8th for the West Coast Eagles. They've just dominated these opening minutes, the Lions.
Shad Rintoul's got a birthday next week. Turns 25. Well, he's kicked that into the wide open spaces. The race is on. Cummings came charging out. Gives it to Mitchell White. He loses it to Ashcroft. Uga Huskus says, thank you very much. Gives it away towards Lappin, and the Lions are out of trouble.
Wirapunda with the strong punch back to the wing. Power reads it best. Again, the Lions in the right spot. Lappin gets it from Black to Power. They've got some run. Power towards the goal square. Malloy's his target. With him, McIntosh goes to ground. Free kick, McIntosh against Malloy, who does have problems as far as free kicks. His statistics aren't good this year. Free kicks for and against. So Ashley McIntosh will take it. He has really, that's his 18th free kick against this year for only 7-4. But Richard Champion takes the mark. It's all Lions at the moment here at the Gabba. But that is all the West Coast Eagles, because that's gone straight back to Metropolis, who takes a strong mark. Plays on, McIntosh. Out towards Fuster. He's under pressure from Lappin. Handball is not good. They've had to punch it on through that player there in Jones. Champion gets out of trouble, sees DJ White. Oh, that's not a kick from White that he's going to remember that easily. Now here's a chance for the West Coast Eagles. Through Rintoul. Out comes Cummings. Couldn't quite get there. With him was Lepic. Lawrence applies the tackle. It spills to Matera. Around the body, Matera. They go forward once and they get a goal.
Great recovery by Cummings. Settle with their first from Peter Matera. Good bullocking work by Scott Cummings. Keating again goes in the middle. Nothing wrong with the middle. Look at that belt, almost as good as a kick. Down towards the 50. The sweeping hand pass by Lynch. Champion runs into a brick wall, loses the footy, and Jakovic comes away. Cool and calm and steady as a rock, but he pops it onto the chest of Huskis. Huskis chips up towards right half forward. Chris Scott looks in towards half forward proper. Ashcroft's waiting alone, and the mark is taken 45 metres out, almost directly in front.
Ashcroft really just adds a strong dimension to the Lions lineup. His work in the centre of the ground is always strong and aggressive, but he's prepared to be creative and bob up at unexpected positions at times. This is an unexpected position for him, but he can generally make the most of these shots.
Bobbing up at the moment, all right. That's his 6th possession. Again, starting at left. And one behind goes on the board. Dipper, I'm just wondering, having had a look at the Cubs and the Tigers game that was on prior to this one, there was... throughout that game, a swirling breeze that was quite strong. Is there any breeze down there at the moment?
Well, Sandy, as you mentioned, that the breeze has just picked up the last 2 or 3 minutes. It's a slight breeze favouring the Lions there, but it's not swirly. It's just going down one end.
Right, mate. Jakovic used the body again, then he pounces on it, almost claims it, needs assistance, and he gets it. Cousins gives it away. Kicked by Rintoul, goes down towards the half-forward line. Hart spoils, but Kemp is there. So too is Huskis. Hart again. Round the body, got the call from Chris Scott. Just over on the full, however. And the Eagles, through Cousins, will go forward.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too much on that from Sean Hart. He needed to keep it low. So a little bit of height carried the ball over. Cousins has Cummings leading to the pocket. Lepage arrives late over Cummings' head. Will it stay in? Here's Scotty. What can he... Oh, former teammate Adam Huskis lets him know. They are good mates, but that's a strange way to prove your friendship, I think.
I'd hate to be an enemy of him then. It's a fairly aggressive play here.
It's just right across the top. Scott goes down, and we saw Cummings in a similar position last week against Fremantle, almost identical, perhaps a little bit tighter on the boundary, ran around and made no problem with the kick.
I mean, Cummings' accuracy has been most impressive. I mean, he's running something like 70%. At the moment, it's only Darren Jarman who is more accurate in front of goal than Scotty Cummings this year.
67 goals, 29 behind.
That's very good. Considering last year when he was at Port, it would have been about 50-50. Right behind him. And as soon as we say how good he is, he does the right thing by us and kicks his 30th behind.
But the error in that whole play really was his initial lead. He led deep into the pocket, and it was always going to be hard work from there. Yes, picked up the free kick and the shot, but the lead needs to be more central, in towards centre-half forward, because sides now are most disciplined at looking into that spot and kicking into there. The full forward, he needs to ensure they do go to there.
But the forwards certainly have been a bonus for Fremantle and the West Coast this year, with Modra doing it for the Dockers. Ball's going to come back from that kick in, I think. The free kick's going the way of Kennedy, who'll take it on half-back.
He's been wonderful this year at centre-half-back, hasn't he? Just holding the side together there in defence.
Very, very solid. Hart away from Kemp, kicks up towards half-forward. Well, that's a good catch by Keating. Well done by Crackers, in towards Huskis. Down this end of the ground, Champion sockers in towards Johnson, and he takes the mark. Well, well, well.
Well, Richard Champion, you can see him acknowledging Keating then. Keating's work on this boundary line was just wonderful. And then the kick, this was the exact kick that we were looking for from the West Coast Eagles previously, in towards centre-half forward, where the pressure is then put on the defence. The defence was immediately under pressure as soon as Richard Champion off the ground and it got some elevation. There was a chance for a mark and it was taken.
Johnson then, for his first for the day, comes in with 14 goals, 8 for the season. Now has 15 goals, 8.
Lions by 8 points. Some quick thinking by Richard Champion. Chris Johnson in front where he should be. Keating has a big swing at it. Doesn't connect. Cousins with Voss. Another good sign for Brisbane is when Voss starts well early. Here's Ashcroft. Possession 7. Power involved with a running Simon Black. He runs forward. It doesn't go over the top. Here's Chris Scotty's run down and has missed it. Gee. But terrific run. I mean, these are defenders that are running down, Terry.
With the overlap run there, and you can just see the extreme pleasure on the face of the Lions supporters here today. But just the overlap run there would have been something that the Wallabies would have been looking for last night over in Auckland. They just supported each other all the way down the ground. And as soon as there was an error, there was another line coming through to clean it up.
I realised Matt bought his girlfriend.
Oh, thank you very little. McIntosh again, Jakovic the target. Champion with him. Not much in that, but Glenn Jakovic will take it happily. Then the kick low, goes past White. Huskus, as he so often does, reading it well. Simon Black. Well, a lot has been said about Simon Black in the last month. He has turned into a terrific player.
And everything that's been said, Matthew, has been true. He's an excellent prospect.
Absolutely. Squares it to Lawrence. Again, there's hardly anyone in the Eagles forward line, just Leppich and Cummings, as Hart hits it back towards Malloy, over the back. Braun with power. Braun with a bit more pace there and just sees it over the boundary line. Again, deep in the Lions forward line.
Matty, we're just starting to get some light rain to fall at the moment. The dark clouds are upon us, so I think we should rug up down here.
Yeah, the pattern really has been throughout the morning that they've come and gone pretty quickly, Dip. So I think we should be all right.
Mitchell White coming off.
Worrying
Philip Reid going
champion.
on.
Look at this snap at goal. How good's that?
He's going to have a day out, Sandy, I think.
Ah, champs. Game number 173. Been a wonderful player, wonderful state player for South Australia. And here he is now popping through his first goal for the day.
What's interesting about the two sides is that they are number 1 and 2 in terms of defence in the competition. But I think the way they go about the defence is totally different. The Lions, they have a defensive outfit, but it is a real attacking one. As Matthew called, everybody was running forward towards the centre line there before. It was only Leppich. He was the one who wanted to join in.
Champion 5 kicks, 1 mark, 1 hand pass already. So he has had a lightning start, as have the Lions. 3-4 plays, 1-1. This is for a top 4 spot. Keating just about beaten on that occasion as Kemp soccers off the ground. Down towards half forward, chopped off by Kennedy. Mean looking machine at half back, and he comes away to Hart.
Swings it out towards Hart. To O'Brien. Newen in the back line. They've had a settled 6 all year. Ackermanis out, O'Brien in. The stability is there with that marvellous running defence. And they've all run. They're all forward of the ball.
Leppich wants to join the party.
Yep, they've all run down. Every player on that half of the field. 4 Eagles in there, appealing for the free kick. Underneath all that was Darryl White.
Matty, I mentioned before, Mitchell White's off the ground. Philip Reid is now going the forward line. And Mitchell White's pretty important for the Eagles. He's had a terrific season, and strange to see him off so early in the game.
Well, he has kicked 18 goals for them, whereas most of their goals have come from the boot of Cummings and Philip Matera. Here's McRae, the Lions' leading goal kicker. He wants to get on the act. That's a big kick. That's another goal. Craig McRae's first.
For the West Coast Eagles, Keating again out of the middle, and he charges forward with Ashcroft. Look at him go as Ashcroft pokes it down towards the forward line. Needing support is McRae. Picks it up now. Slams it onto the left foot. Oh, we're out here to party. Dick and Duty.
Great work, Jared Malloy. I mean, he kept them in the contest there, Terry.
I mean, Jared has mixed days in the forward line, and if he does have days where it's not going well for him, if he can concentrate on doing the small things and creating opportunities, well, here's a beautiful one here. Just looking to keep it on out low. McRae gets to what we call now the front and square spot, being there where you can take it and you're facing goals. The Eagles are really under the pump. Jakovic has gone into the forward line. Champion has now Mitchell White as his opponent centre half back. Champion's the one who's really giving these smalls in the forward line something to work with.
Well, the margin already 27 points. This is the best start we've seen from the Lions this year at the Gabba. Craig McRae, 2 goals in a minute. Again to the centre. Both go early. Keating just manages to flick it forward. Sean Hart there, under pressure from Kemp. Now the Eagles through Stone, his first game of the season, into the side. White pressuring him. Stone does well because he didn't panic. Handball a bit low there for Mitchell White, who is back on the ground. Underneath all that, Simon Black, so there'll be a ball up on the centre wing. We're only halfway through this quarter already. Umpire Martin Ellis will throw the ball up on the outer side, so not happy to bounce it there. Again, Keating with a tap towards Jones and Ashcroft, who has already, if you count that as a possession, that makes number 9. He's really started well. Heavy body work from Boss, just knocks Rintoul out of the way. And Rintoul is a fairly solid customer, as we know.
They're a strong side, aren't they, Matty, over the ball? The Lions this year, they've been just terrific. They just keep their body over the ball and then use it properly when they can.
Class personified, Michael Voss, no doubt about that. Trying to get the hand pass away was Rowan Jones. Now Matera. The son makes a welcome appearance. That's a fine grab taken by Eustace, and he shows him the ball and says, here I am. Gives it away to Kennedy. Very firm there. He's unable to have a bounce. Draws the player, then gets the hand pass away. It may have been better to have a kick. Breeze under the pump. Now Luke Power. Power puts the foot on the accelerator. He goes to Ashcroft. Ashcroft's going to have 20 possessions by quarter time. Up towards half forward. Johnson's the flyer. 1, 2 grab. Play on, Jono. Play on. And he does. Around with Apunda. In towards the pocket. The kick's going to let him down. Back to Apunda. He'll be the first to recover and picks it up now on half back. Great smother by Luke Power. Off to Lappin. Champion making another one. He blasts high. And it drifts away to the right. But this is an excitement machine we're seeing at work at the Gabba at the moment.
And Justin Lepich is just hell-bent on getting into the... He was in that 10-metre square at the forward end then. He's ran all the way. And it's that back line. It's Eustace, it's Kennedy. Lepich, who hasn't touched it yet, but he's putting immense pressure on the Eagles forward line. The Eagles forward lines are now playing as defenders. They haven't got anything going for them at all.
35 plays 7. McIntosh again. Chris Scott in the van. Plays on quickly. Malloy's at the back. Look at this one. Have a look at that. Good on you, Jared. Wow.
For another goal, Malloy's first. 34 points. Still plenty of time left in this first quarter. Eagles need to get something happening. They need to get something happening out of the centre. But Chris Scott has knocked it over to Ashcroft. We've already mentioned him many times. Ashcroft gets a goal. Gee.
13 possessions for Ashcroft.
And we've got over 8 minutes remaining of play. You weren't wrong, Sandy, when you said 20 possessions. That's well within his grasp at the minute.
Well, Luke Power has 8.
They're just powering through it. I mean, their best first quarter was back in round 1 against Freo when they kicked 8-3. They're right up there now with it. They'll blow that one out of the water. There's no doubt about it. And the impressive thing is just the amount of football. There's 74 disposals to the Brisbane Lions compared to 31 to the West Coast Eagles at this stage. It's just an absolute dominance period that really I just haven't seen in league football for a long time.
What about the marks?
Mark Sandy, 18-1.
They'll be blown away. 18-1. Keating again. Down to Ashcroft. Another possession. Number 14. Lappin makes a rare error. It opens the door for Kemp. His hand passes to Cousins. That's beautifully smothered. They'll try and lock it up in that area. Ashcroft goes again. He's got to apply the tackle. Doesn't get there in time, and it's Stone. Kicks it up towards centre wing. Ball caught. Around he goes. Matera, the hand pass is okay. Back to Kemp, the old firm, trying to get them going. In towards Phil Matera, and he takes the mark.
So this is where they need to settle. Look, Mick Moult has ever wanted a goal to be put on the scoreboard for his side. It's this one here. They just need that one and then be able to go back to the next centre bounce and try and win a centre bounce clearance. The clearances have just been the difference between the two sides at this particular stage. The Lions have dominated in that area. They've taken out 7-2.
Peter Matera has 1 goal already. Let's see what Phillip can do. Away to the left, going for a bit of extra distance, one fears.
Sandy, I don't know whether Dipper could find out, and I'm not sure what the travel pattern was for the West Coast Eagles to get to Brisbane here today.
Terry, it took them 7 hours to get here. They had to stop in Sydney, and they got here on Friday. So it's been a long journey for them so far.
And that they just really aren't tuned into the game.
They got here Friday, though. Here's White in the meantime. Off he goes to Chris Scott. Scott, 1 bounce on right half forward. 65 metres out. Runs his full distance. Centering kick. Where are the big flyers? Gee, there were 3 or 4 in there, and somehow the umpires picked out a push. Jared Malloy, I think, may have infringed. He's not at all happy about it, but he can do nothing about it. Jakovic will take it. Oh.
Yeah, you've got to keep your hands out of it. You've got to get them up.
Well, they're not out of trouble yet. Richie Power could have just about been sandwiched. Jakovic comes away under pressure, and good pressure too applied. Sees that ball go out of bounds on the full. That's Jared Malloy. And he may be in a spot of bother. Keep an eye on him. Jogs gingerly back as Darryl White takes the kick on right half forward. This has been basically one-way traffic at the moment. White, a poor kick also. He's going into the pocket, making it very, very difficult. And McIntosh takes the mark.
Well, Malloy didn't want that there. I mean, it was the head of the square is where they wanted it. Malloy didn't really want to be in the contest. He wanted a spell. McIntosh taking his time. 39 points is the margin. If you've just tuned in, it's all Lions. White couldn't get it. Down the front was Banfield. Black cleverly tries to keep it in. Says hello to some concerned spectators here at the Gabba. Simon Black right up there with the Norwich Rising Star nominations this year. Keating to do battle with Ball. Jason Ball, his 100th game, does well. Cousins steps around some traffic. Kick is low, Hart got to the front quickly. Champion having a great first quarter. He's caught. Simon Black doesn't panic under pressure. Neither does Hart. He has Chris Scott. Scott chips it out to the lead of Lappin, and Lappin takes a mark. It's all too easy for the Lions. They're running at angles. They're running everywhere they want. And players playing Terry with supreme confidence.
There is. I mean, you just look at the shots on goal. The Lions have had 12. This will be number 13 to only just 3 from the West Coast Eagles. The dominance of the Lions from their half-back line, and there it is there, inside 50, sorry, 20 times to just the 5, and their ability to convert has been most impressive.
And this for their best quarter of the season.
Yep. It's just blowing me. This is wonderful football.
Lappin has 15 for the year. 15 goals, 13. No problem there for Nigel. Make that 16.
Of his moods,
Started back in round 1, didn't they, with Geelong and the Kangaroos.
Mate, we're on now Sandy Rentulov. He's playing on the wing.
You wonder how long and how far they can keep going. But there's Mainwaring trying to get into the action there. Could have almost given away the free kick. Ashcroft picked up another possession. Off towards McRae. McRae to the dashing Black. Black tries to spear it through in towards goal. Malloy's taken round the neck. And it's been noticed that he'll get a free kick. Smack bang in the square.
The centre square again. The centre square again. Just straight out.
It's a rout.
Well, here it is. I mean, you claim the front position, and if you take that, your odds are most definitely with you either to get possession of the football or receive the free kick. Ashley McIntosh was pursuing the ball, there's no doubt about it, but hand over the shoulder umpire to Peter Carey right on the spot. He awards the free kick.
And there's another one on the board to the Lions. Holy dolly.
Look, everyone's on show here today, aren't they? There's no doubt about that. Well, the way in which Malloy has created a couple of opportunities. He's given McRae one earlier. He's been on the end of this one here. As Matty Campbell said, he is prone to give away free kicks, but every now and again in one-on-one contests, they come back your way, and he picked up that one.
Still 4.5 minutes remaining. We've got to be looking at a 10-goal quarter here for the Brisbane Lions, Matt.
As Chad Rentoul looks on with his coach, Michael Malthouse. Gee, you travel across the country to come here and you think at quarter time we're 51 points down at the moment. Here's Cousins. Keating putting some pressure on Matera. The big man goes again. Look at the diving. Black gets out. They're going again. Richard Champion gets it, throws it on the boot. Metropolis under pressure. Here's Malloy. Johnson. Oh, spins out of trouble. They can do no wrong. Chris Johnson kicks the 10th. His second goal.
About the midfield ascendancy and the disposals in the middle. 60 to the Brisbane Lions, 26 to the West Coast Eagles.
And it's the best first quarter of the year. They've just surpassed the Kangaroos in round 7, who had 10-3, up here with 10-5, and they've been most impressive.
And Stevie Lawrence has given away the ascendancy here with an infringement, and so the free kick, well, it's going to be chopped off anyway by Darryl White.
Yeah, Braun came onto the ground, Sandy, and Stevie Lawrence put him in a headlock, and the umpire saw it.
As you would when you're 10 goals up. Dipper. towards Ashcroft. He's been a winner.
And he's been taken off the ground too, Sandy.
By Matera.
Stephen Lawrence has been taken off the ground for that.
Yep, discipline. Ashcroft, possession number
2,000, Sandy. Can't see the stat machine at the moment. It's about 2,000.
Well, it's blown up, I think. It's never had so much use. Here's another one from Ashcroft. The hand pass. Shot out towards Simon Black. Back to Ashcroft. That's 3 possessions in 30 seconds.
18.
17, 18, 19. Thank you very much. As McRae has it on centre wing. Haven't seen a quarter footy like this for a long, long time. Up towards half forward. Malloy will give it away to Kemp, who's got the free kick at half back.
Sandy had the fortune of being at the MCG yesterday when we saw a 15-goal first quarter between the two sides, 7 to Essendon and 8 to Kangaroos. But the Lions have just done it all here themselves.
Here's Kennedy. Wobbling, ugly punt down towards Malloy. A snap. He needs to bend it back, but instead just slams it into the behind post. No score. We've got a throw in the left forward pocket.
I don't think he'd be unhappy about it. It's still up there, Sandy.
Oh.
Another chance.
It's amazing, isn't it? We've got over 3 minutes left, and the margin is 57 points in the first quarter. Jakovic. Malloy keeping it inside 50, bends it back. This is a big kick, but it's wide, and it'll have to come all the way back because he was over the mark, over the line anyway, and has given away the ball. So there will be some respite.
Free kick to the West Coast, I think against Chris Johnson there, off the ball while he was shepherding for Jared Malloy there.
I think the best start by a side in a quarter, 67 points.
At the Gabba?
At the Gabba?
Yep. Really, there's just a hushed silence around the stadium now, isn't it?
Well, they should be rocking and rolling because most of them are Brisbane Lions.
They're shell-shocked at perhaps the lack of purpose in the Eagles' side at just at the moment. They just can't find a winner anywhere and can't find the football in actual fact.
Stone on the ground with him, Darryl White. And Steve Lawrence, after having a bit of a think about things, back on the ground. Brett Voss just getting a bit of a run to warm up. 57 points. Here they go, the Eagles. Matera throws it on the boot. This is Justin Lepich. Now, Justin wants to get involved.
I reckon he wants to kick a goal.
It's his first possession, and it wouldn't surprise me if he had a go. He's not going to be able to. It's got Chris Scott wide. It's a 35-metre handball. Chris Scott high towards the square, looking for Johnson or Malloy. Well done. McIntosh read it beautifully. Drifted back in, takes the mark, and they've been rare for the West Coast Eagles. But just for the last couple of minutes, they've managed to stem the tide. 50 metres. It'll be interesting, Terry. Even though the Lions have been clearly dominant, they've given away a few free kicks.
They have. They've given a lot away. And then just a couple of missed opportunities. I thought Jarrett Malloy should have made a contest there on the mark with McIntosh. McIntosh took that man alone and far too easily. They could have even created more for themselves.
Well, he found White easily. He had some space. Mitchell White goes very long looking for Cummings. 2-on-1. Lepich gets back to help out Kennedy. It ends up with Justin Lepich. Long kick. Beautiful drop punt to the outer side. Magnificent kick. 55, 60 metres to the lead of champion. He's going to play on. He won't be allowed to, says umpire Peter Carey.
Who could blame him? He's had 10 possessions, Matty.
Oh, that's a terrific start from a half forward. There's another long kick. Over the back. This will probably bounce through. This will probably... No, David Wirapunda gets back. Gets the kick away. There's a free kick off the ball. The shepherd from McIntosh. And it's going to go to Craig McRae for too high. And that was just the first time there. The Eagles were away. They had Mainwaring clear. Just in the corner of the camera there, we see the shepherd a little bit aggressive on McRae's head. And we mentioned Malloy, who's had trouble with the umpires. Craig McRae, the opposite. He knows how to find a free kick. 24 for, 11 against.
Well, that just about describes new general half-forward flanker, doesn't it, Matty? They're in and around there.
They make sure they see him.
Yes, they do. But the thing about McRae, he's got the ability to be able to be hard and aggressive in at the ball as well. And you wouldn't put it past him kicking this. He's on his left side, being the left footer. And just the way the Lions are going at the moment, everything is just running hot for them.
Certainly are. He's got two. Well, if he kicks this, it'll be the Lions' best quarter ever.
Well, he's kicked it, but he hasn't goal.
He's kicked the point. An opportunity there for McRae to create some history, but there's still time, Sandy. There's still 47 seconds left.
there just isn't a spark in the West Coast Eagles side. There's Mick Malthouse. He's waiting for quarter time. Obviously, he can't come quick enough. They wanted the siren to go at the 15-minute mark, I think.
Zorba Metropolis tumbles it back in, almost down towards the centre. Ashcroft in the thick of things. So too Huskus flicks it to Champion. There's another possession. Spears it in towards half forward. Went short. Maybe the option could have been to go longer. Mainwaring tumbles it back towards the middle. Kennedy almost snares it. Hart leads in the race. Hart soccers towards the centre wing area. Champion to do the shepherding. Hart still going. Gains 16 or 20 metres. And we've got a throw in. Right half forward. 20 seconds remaining. They need 2 points to make it their best quarter of football ever.
And therein lies the mindset of the two sides. The West Coast Eagles, they were looking to get the ball out of bounds, stop the game. But the Lions, they want to keep it alive, keep it rolling.
Ashcroft, yet another possession. My hat. Matera around the body with a left foot. Mitchell White the target, coming out of the shade and into the sunshine. He recovers well. Scott gives chase, but he gets his kick. Cummings needs a mark. They need something on the siren. Something desperately. O'Bree's there. He's got to beat a couple. There's the siren. And that ends a sensational quarter of football. Listen to that roar. And it's a standing ovation. Look at this. I've ever seen that response at the Gabba before.
I can concur, Sandy. That's I've got the hair standing up on the back of my neck. I mean, that ovation from this Queensland crowd, unbelievable.
Well, there's a bald chap down in front of us, and even he has too. Extraordinary. And there's Mick having a chat with Glenn Jakovich. The boys have got to try and regroup. It's an amazing scoreboard. The Lions 10-6-66. The Eagles 1-2-8. Quarter time here at the Gabba. This crowd has settled down after giving the home side a standing ovation. The reason why is on your screen. 10-6-66. The second highest score in a quarter by the Lions ever. And they missed by just a behind, equaling their highest. An amazing performance. West Coast 1-8. The margin is 58 points at a quarter time. Quite a stunning performance. A couple of other matches though being played to complete round 17 this afternoon. Now, because of replays, if you don't want to know the score, into the kitchen, kettle on, quick cup of tea, back for the second quarter. So the boys out ready for the start of the second quarter. If we're shell-shocked, I reckon you probably are too, Dipper.
I certainly am, Sandy, and so is Mick Malthouse. He's just asked his players to firstly get the ball and then look for some support and backup. He said, obviously, you weren't in that contest at all. The second quarter, you're going to start again and just try and get the ball out of the middle.
Marcus Ashcroft, 19 disposals in that first quarter. Champion 11, Power 8. And they go forward again, down towards full forward. McIntosh takes a timely mark. Now, this side of the ground is very, very slippery. It mightn't look it on screen, but it is. Johnson, head down, bottom up. Cousins in all sorts of bother. Jakovich tries to get a kick away. Up towards Chris Scott, and he takes a fine mark. Plays on, pumps them in towards Champion. Champion! Almost has it. McIntosh, the hand pass to Wirpunda. David runs across full back. He kicks wide, very wide, but it bounces just inside the line. Drew Banfield sees it over and got a throw in.
Just the importance of the centre bounce there. The Eagles wanted to be able to get away, no doubt at all, with the first one, but they couldn't. The Lions have been just so impressive in there. It rebounded back after the centre bounce, and then the big thumping kick into the forward line. Immediate pressure on the West Coast Eagles defence. Keating has been impressive, hasn't he?
Been very, very impressive. Crackers Keating wins it again. Voss can't get through, but he managed to spoon it out. Johnson put his teammate Keating under a ton of pressure. Matera gets through some heavy traffic, as only Matera can, but eventually he gets caught. Not before he gets the hand pass to Reid, and the Eagles tumble it down towards their half-forward line and Phil Matera.
Yes, leading in the race, the ball in front of O'Bree. O'Bree goes to ground. As Sandy mentioned, it can be a bit slippery there, but he does well to get it back inside to Mainwaring. Now he steadies, looks up forward. 2-on-1 again, the Lions. Cummings and Lepich. Huskus in to lend a hand. They live together. They're playing football together. But Cummings does really well there. I mean, that was a 2-on-1 contest, and he's managed to hold it in the area. The bench, Dipper.
I'll catch up with the bench in a moment, boys.
We see Jason Ball sitting there.
At quarter time there, Mick Malthouse, really all he could have looked for was to be able to win each quarter now by a couple of goals in order just to slowly work their way back into this game.
Well, Matera almost. Hart just forcing another ball up. About 15 metres in front of the West Coast goal. Gabba crowd certainly enjoying their Sunday afternoon here at the moment. Some people in front of us.
Oh, golly.
Umpire Ellis again. It'll be Kennedy against White. Oh, well done, Mitchell White. Out in the path of Matera. Just can't quite get a clean possession there. Lawrence with confidence. Back to the wing. Lappin also with confidence. Attacked the ball very well. Swings around now just to clear it out of the area up towards a contest. Keating pushes back and almost takes a clever mark. Johnson, here's Richard Champion. Well, normally you'd think 11 possessions would be enough after the first quarter, but Ashcroft beat him. Malloy, McIntosh is playing very well, but mind you, the ball's up there a lot. Johnson with a bit of rugby work there, tackled, goes to ground. Well, they moved the ball very quickly then. Chris Johnson getting up.
He's just one of the players who have really come out today with a different attitude than I've seen for a long time, and it's been most infectious. We've seen all the Lions be committed to the ball, and whereas the Eagles, they are quite shell-shocked. They haven't been able to settle down into any semblance of method into their forward line or any form whatsoever.
And Terry, just on the bench, on the bench for the Eagles, we've got Stone, Holmes, Ball and Bellotti for the Eagles.
And the other thing that's so important that will be a worry to the Eagles at the moment is percentage. Now, is that a kick by Voss for one behind? Brisbane came into this game with a percentage of over 127, and the West Coast were on 124.3. Well, the way this is going at the moment, both of those are going to change rather dramatically. Of course, we've got almost 3/4 of footy to go. But when you're looking at a top four spot, this is very, very important.
And it's also, Sam, if you look at the premiers over the last few years, it's not who's finished minor premier. It's actually been the side that's had the best percentage.
Correct.
And that's always been in the back of the mind of the Lions to keep a good percentage.
Well, don't you start thinking about grand final celebrations yet, Matthew. We've got a long way to go.
There is, but
Ashcroft towards White. Couldn't take it cleanly. Banfield caught by Voss. Cousins caught by Black. Lambert in towards full forward. Strength by Malloy. Opens the door for Lappin. Clever little kick. Another goal to Power. Too easy.
would have been thinking or hoping for the first goal, the West Coast coach, but not to be. Yes, Mick, you're down by 10 goals.
And made the bench for the Lions, Lynch, Voss, Lambert and Bo McDonald.
Well, Lambert getting on and getting his first possession.
Oh, look at this.
Unusually, it was a kick as Voss gives it to Black. Black spotted Champion up forward, where Punter does well. Lambert with him, down in front. Lambert, can he get hold of it? He can't. It's going to be locked up there by the West Coast Eagles.
Gee, their desperation.
In the middle, I mean, you've got
Just
strength of Voss and the hard-running Simon Black, who runs forward very quickly. And as you can see, 9-4 for the match. And if that trend continues, so will the lead for the Lions.
But each one of those 9 have been so clear, so decisive and so penetrating to their forward line.
Black, clever handball to Voss. We just spoke of those two players. Voss gets underneath it. Not a good kick from the captain, but he will register a behind. His second for the quarter.
A little bit of doubt about Michael Voss after last week. He didn't complete the game against St Kilda, had a slight knee jar, but obviously no ill effects now, Matthew.
He was confident early in the week, Terry. He had already said by Monday that he will play. It was just one of those ones that recovered very well, and he is taking his place in the side.
Black's had 8 disposals so far and has been very good as McIntosh wants to find Jakovic. Little too high for Rintoul. Also Lappin. The hand pass is shot out by Jones. They'll get out of trouble to Matera, almost down to the middle. Rintoul wants it, but Matera wants to go longer. And he does. A rare foray in towards half forward. Chopped off by Justin Leppich.
Now, a freeze frame of that photo would have had Leppich being the full forward, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, he was clearly a metre in front of Scotty Cummings, attacked the ball and marked it. And therein just lies the confidence of the side that even the full-back is prepared to attack the ball.
Playing his 99th game is Justin, so maybe a big week for him next week. Joining the Century Club. Chris Scott's not far away, but this is Adam Huskus. Scott's playing his 98th game today and playing a beauty too. That's a good mark by Phil Reid. Of course, the danger too when the game is like this, all of a sudden some sting can disappear from it. Let's hope that's not going to be the case. Braun on half-back. Wide towards centre wing. Banfield and Hart. Banfield slightly taller. Hart's pretty sharp, but Banfield gets his kick under pressure. Straight to Scott. Good hand pass to Lawrence. Here they go again. Dashing Dazza. Shocking hand pass. Cousins. Matera. Maybe something from Phil Matera. A long, high punt. Lepic. Can't get there. And he's kicked a much-needed goal.
Against the flow, the Eagles, their second, really was the Lions just overusing the handball there, a little bit overconfident, as Keating again just decides to knock it into that quadrant. Coming through hard was Rintoul. Kennedy forces it wide to the boundary. Here's the goal kicker, Matera. O'Brien a little bit in his back. Ashcroft, haven't seen him for a couple of minutes, wonder why. He may be tired. Ends up with White, round the body. Morrison. Quick kick by Chad Morrison up towards Cummings. Lepic leads him to the ball. Huskus goes back again to lend a hand. Good pressure applied by Philip Matera. Lawrence, underground handball to Huskus. They're playing with confidence, but it may be too much at the moment. Starting to finesse. Lepic almost caught. White, look at this. They're dancing around. It's the Gabba Ballet at the moment, if you've just tuned in. Lawrence helps out, goes to centre half forward. Johnson, he spins around someone. That's not a good handball. As I said, they're starting to overuse it. Metropolis heads back towards the boundary line. Banfield over the top of Ashcroft. Main Waring, good give. Braun, low and hard to White. White's kick is low and hard. It's a beautiful kick to Cummings, but he just can't get it. Can't get into the game, Scotty. Again, Huskus to Lawrence to O'Brien. I think Lee Matthews will be getting the message out to him shortly, Sandy. Yes. Come on, let's not overdo it. Let's go long and direct. That's how we got 10 goals up in the first place. Kennedy, Huskus. Well, he must have had a bet with someone at quarter time to see how many possessions he could get. Looking for and not finding the lead there of Malloy.
No, that's poor play. And I think Matthews would be disappointed with this, but Jakovic might make them pay. Goes over the top. Now, maybe Rintoul can set something up here. Up towards Mitchell White, who's been a very good focal point for the bulk of the year. And he's got a free kick. I don't think Lawrence will like it too much, but he has, and he plays on to Kemp, who pulls that ball too far to the right. It matters not as far as the Lions are concerned, because Darryl White takes the timely mark.
Just the way Darryl White throws himself at the contest and the mark, he's always a chance, and if he doesn't get it, he'll always knock it on down, forming a contest.
Fuster beats Keating and kicks a long goal. Great goal by Fuster and the West Coast Eagles.
GWN's AFL telecast presents
Back to 54 points. And if West Coast are going to crawl back bit by bit, their cause is certainly going to be helped if Brisbane decide to just muck around with the football. Keating towards Black. Ashcroft almost got it. Out of the centre. That's better for the West Coast Eagles was Banfield. Kick tumbles forward. Lepic leaves Cummings for dead. And then dribbles it up towards Rintoul. Here comes Voss at attack on the ball. Sets the example for his players. Lepic also tackles him. Just terrific attack on the ball by the captain. You could see it coming from 10 or 15 metres away. And the Gabba crowd applauding Lepic, but also the captain and Michael Voss. Northern stand here full for another sellout game. Keating knocked off it by Fuster. Towards Lepic. He was hoping for a breather, I think. And over the line as Craig Lambert has a spell.
And young McDonald's on the ground, Andy.
Thanks, Tip.
Big bow.
Just smile on the face of Lambert.
Well, he should
at
be
least
happy.
there.
I just thought this would be a great opportunity for Lambert to get some good ground time. I mean, he's missed a lot of football. This is what he's only his third game out of the last 10. So it would have been a good opportunity.
Cousins bends it back. Huskus could be the stumbling block. Unable to take the mark, but he pokes it down in front to accommodate Black. McDonald leaves it for Lepic. Interesting to see how he goes, McDonald. O'Brien to the outer side. Kennedy's away. And the Lions are away. Little softer on that side, but it doesn't stop him having a couple of bounces, kicking long, but a disappointing kick down the throat of David Wirapunda. 74 plays 20. Kemp on the outer side, down towards left half forward, Laurie Bellotti, seeing it over the line. The margin 58 points at quarter time. They haven't made much of an impression, 54. Big scoreboard. A lot of big things here at the Gabba. From the throw-in. Cousins. Good to see him back. Djakovic. Long in towards full forward. Lepic almost the one-hander. Huskis there with him. Short kick. Voss leads in the race. Rintoul after him. Voss first. Cleverly done. Gains 20 metres. Out of the immediate danger zone. Fans love it. Pleasant Sunday afternoon here in the stand for many of these people, and they're enjoying what they're seeing. Throw in almost down to centre wing. Fuster tries to pluck it out of the air, then perhaps exaggerates a tackle, but it was high and he's got the free kick.
So the Eagles are even statistically now working their way back into the game. This kick here, this will put them inside 50 for the 12th time, as against the Lions just 6 this quarter, and their possession and disposal rate is up and comparable to the Lions just at the moment. So they have stopped the quarter time what was happening and started to work back into it.
Rintoul not confident about the distance after getting it from Djakovic, so he takes on Black and he goes long to the face of the square, and it's belted over for throwing in the right forward pocket. We've got just on 9 minutes remaining in the first half. Justin Lepic, will he make the All-Australian team? Fullback of the year? Who knows?
Well, he certainly has had a marvellous year, whether staying at fullback or going forward. Mitchell White around the corner, another goal to the West Coast Eagles. West Coast Eagles 4th, and just a lull in proceedings from the Lions at the moment. Bo McDonald now in the ruck, another young Western Australian, as is Simon Black, who will be looking to try and take the ball out of the centre. McDonald wins it. There is Black, and there's a great Western Australian player in Chris Mainwaring. Locked up, ball up. Umpire Chris Mitchell will ball it up just inside the forward half of the Lions.
What a player he's been. He's probably one of the idols of players like Simon Black as Simon's growing up over in East Fremantle. Chris Mainwaring, the oldest man out there, 33 years of age, but over 200 games. Great servant of the Eagles Footy Club.
Well, there he is, getting involved. The tackle was by Chris Johnson. And again, another ball up. Yes, he's been a marvellous player. Some conjecture about the so-called Herald Sun 200-game players. He's one of 5 West Coast Eagles out there at the moment.
Which would make them arguably the greatest team of all time.
5 current players. Guy McKenna, the one not playing. As the Gabba crowd, they want another goal. They got used to him in the first quarter. They're enjoying it. Matera, Lappin, through some traffic, forward. Voss is there. Voss is there. He's such a strong player. His upper body strength has really improved. We know about his leg injury, we know about his broken leg. It's just helping to improve his upper body strength.
And he just covers so much ground, doesn't he? I mean, we saw him earlier up in the back line, now here in the forward line, and just strong in the front of the contest.
He hasn't got amongst the goals as yet. Put him down for one now. His first, the second for the quarter for the Lions.
Not in trouble, but a little steadier there, Terry.
Yes, I agree, Sandy. I mean, Lee Matthews, it's hard at time when your side's so dominant as they were, 58 points up. It's hard to ensure that you can send them out there with that same hunger, and you know that the opposition side are going to come out and look to be able to draw it back in. The Eagles have come back out to draw it in. They kicked 3, but the steadier from the captain was a most appropriate time.
It's been 15 minutes since the Lions kicked their last goal, so a little bit of a mini drought is broken. Disposals in this term, Lawrence has 6, Huskis 6, Black 5, Cousins 5 for the Eagles, and Djakovic 4. Here's one for Braun, tumbling a punt down towards the half-forward line. Lepic, Oh, he almost ran into his teammate. But it's swept wide to Huskis, who saw dashing Darryl White out the side of his eye. And he's got him on centre wing. Bo McDonald calling for it long, but he goes short to Lappin. Down towards the left half forward. Black. Possession number 6 for the quarter. One of the running machines in this Lion outfit. Good kick. Finds Big Bo. Built like a praying mantis. But he kicks it long and high. Johnson.
Where were the Eagles defenders? That's the question. And they all just stood back and watched. There was a bit of a wrestle for a contest.
Free kick to Voss.
2 of the forwards. So that was the wrestle that took the eye. But then the defenders didn't keep coming at all. So they've lost out on 2 accounts here.
Voss then for his second in almost as many minutes. And he's got it.
Voss' second goal. Bo McDonald back in the middle. You may call him the praying mantis, Sandy. I call him the world's longest toothpick. As he was in the tackle there with Chris Scott. Here's Simon Black.
Someone's got some very crooked teeth there.
He's a very popular young lad here at the club. Wonderful young boy. As the Eagles switch it out now through Jakovic to Mitchell White. Ability to get free, Mitchell White, because he does run hard and covers a lot of ground. Michael Braun is going to play on. Kennedy arrives late. It's a clever kick from Braun, though. Matera seems to raise the crowd's ire at times. That's a kick towards ball. It's a good kick. Arriving late was the toothpick himself and McDonald. Here's Weerapunda's moved to the forward line. Perhaps kicked it a bit, or felt as though he's under more pressure than he was. Could have straightened up and kicked the drop punt. But it's easy from up here.
Well, David Weerapunda, he will play forward line football in another couple of years.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that at all. Nick Moldhouse is developing him as a defender at the moment. He's doing that so well. Appropriate time to come down, but your observation was accurate, mate. He didn't think he had as much time as what he had there. In the back, there's often more than that.
5.5 minutes left in this first half. A half dominated by the Brisbane Lions. Marcus Ashcroft, 19 possessions. He's had a quiet second quarter. In 19 possessions in the first term, and only 3 or 4 in this term. That's a shocker. Kennedy, only joking. Kennedy in towards half forward. It goes over the pack. Keating tries to slap it further to Phil, but it's taken away by Jakovic, who gives it off, and they kick towards Matera by Rintoul. Matera still going, just outside 50. They get him now. Scott sockers it through towards Power. Power's in trouble, but he gets the hand pass out to Ashcroft. Now Marcus is coming into this second quarter. Up towards the right half forward. Johnson. Couple of speckies so far in the game from this young man. To half forward. Voss. Look out, something is bound to happen here. Around the body. White was calling for it at half forward. The bouncing ball. Here you go then, Dazza. You called for it. Malloy does the shepherding, then paddles it to Johnson. The kick is smothered. Cousins almost threw it. Kemp.
Oh, great work,
Johnson.
Great play. Still not out of it yet. And finally it's Morrison who goes to Matera, just about in the middle of the ground. Fires it off to Dean Kemp. He looks towards half forward. And a strong mark taken by Matera. This is Phil bending it back. Now drifting away on the breeze. Away to the right and out of bounds on the full.
Chris Johnson at half forward. It was just a couple of years ago. I think he was number 2 in tackles again to Tony Liberatore, and he was right up there. He's been injury interrupted, suspensions, but if he can do that sort of play at half forward for the Lions, they'll go a long way this year.
Oh, poor bounce for Huskis, and he might struggle to get out of this. Mainwaring gives the hand pass away. They desperately need one from Jacko, and they've got it. So
Back to 4-all, Jared. His third goal, Jared Malloy.
Yep, it blows it out of the water, doesn't it? And what was impressive was just the sheer directness of the play. Yes, Luke Power does tend to chip it around a little bit too much, but here's the example given here now by Ashcroft. That's what puts the defences under pressure, and There's no better defence than the Eagles, but Morrison was really caught out of that one. He's pushing and shoving there. The play there, very good.
So 3 goals to Malloy, 2 to Voss, 2 to McRae, 2 to Johnson. They're the major contributors for Brisbane at the moment. Singles to 5 West Coasters. 92 plays 33. Sneaking up on siren time for the long break. Down towards half forward, Rintoul chops it off, gets away from White, kicks it down towards Mitchell White. He gives it away to Kemp. Goes on to the left foot towards Wirpunda. Takes a good mark. Directly in front, 35 out. He should kick the West Coast Eagles 6th and his first.
Looking for some benefits out of the game, and I think Mick Malthouse, with Wirpunda having gone down to the forward line, is looking to see whether he can get something out of this one. Very talented young player who could end up with something here today. Maybe a bag of points.
Happens all the time, doesn't it?
No, but you are right, Terry. Forget the kick.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, you know, what is Mick going to get out of the game? He needs to, because these two sides are going to come up against each other in terms of the finals, and each coach needs to have something else that they can bring out during that final series. So Mick Malthouse needs to be able to be addressing that aspect of the game here this afternoon.
Well, it's interesting the way it's going at the moment. Who knows? That final could well be played at this very ground. Long way to go yet, though. Ashcroft kicks towards half forward. They all wait for it to bounce. Jakovic reads it well, but then he gets claimed. Tried to soccer off the ground. Not out of it yet. Braun tries to create a path. Here's Champion. 60 metres. Champion's long bomb. Voss is back there. Can't take it before it goes over the line for one behind. Big attempt. Morrison from the kick in. Chad goes on to Zorba. Metropolis told to play on. Johnson will give it to Voss. He should kick a goal. Goal number 3 to Michael Voss, all in this term.
What do you say about him? I mean, Michael Voss, he really epitomises the side, and he's been able to inspire so many players. Just two of the Aboriginal boys there, and Darryl White and Chris Johnson, just combining so very, very well in order to get on out towards Voss. He's finishing in this quarter, 3 goals in this quarter. Great versatility.
Voss's third, but wonderful anticipation from White in the zone to read what was happening and leave his man, force the tackle, which ended up with the goal. Ball to Braun. McDonald working hard, the young fella. Simon Black so often gets in and under to get it out. Power. Good work there by Philip Reid. West Coast to go forward. Big pack of players. Cummings comes late. Falls down towards the free kick. It's a push. And it's against Cummings on Leppich, I think. So Justin Leppich would really be enjoying this. Cummings can't get into the game. Leppich has only had his 3 goals kicked on him. It's the most that's been kicked on him this year. And he'll be looking to continue that record. So often as he does, he kicks to Huskus. And so often they go sideways. And this time Chris Scott is on the end of it.
He's had a big quarter, Matty, Chris Scott.
Yep. He's now had 15 possessions for the game. But he's only found Jakovic. He's looking for options. Goes short. Mitchell White. Little give off to Matera. Matera sees Cummings this time. No, Justin Leppich once again. And, you know, there's always jewels within jewels on a football game. And this one is intriguing to see Leppich winning so comfortably. Here's Stephen Lawrence. Short. This is Chris Johnson. Ashcroft wants another possession. You'd think he'd be sick of it by now. He's got Kennedy. And Kennedy perhaps didn't know he had the space, but Black always running forward. Oh, that's a bad handball, though. Here's a chance now for the West Coast Eagles. Cousins, cut off by Hart to McDonald.
McDonald goes to the outer side, and Black's still running. If it sits this time, he may get a crack at it. 60 metres out, short little kick, beautifully trapped by Voss. That was just sensational. Back it goes, and the youngster will finish it off with yet another goal. Well done, Simon Black. We've seen some wonderful football and wonderful footballers, and you could put Michael Voss just about near the top of the class.
Yep, Brownlow medalists don't come much better than this man, and he will win another one. But Simon Blake cleaned up for a bad error in the centre of the ground. His handball was very, very slack, I thought. Wasn't as crisp as what we normally expect from Simon Blake, but made amends with some wide running and then turning the ball back, continued on and received.
So all of a sudden the Lions continue to outscore as Black just has a chat with Lee and see what he thinks of that passage of play.
He's just taken him off because he's run so far.
It's been sensational. So too Voss. McDonald, a big belt out of the middle, taken by Chris Mainwaring, down towards half forward. Huskus gets an awful bounce. Cummings tries to flick it over the back to Wirapunda. Listen to this crowd again. Just listen to this. .71 points, the margin at half-time as both sides leave the arena. West Coast making early inroads in that term with goals from White and Fuster and Jakovic and Phil Matera. But then the Brisbane Lions hitting back and led by their captain in inspirational style. He booted 3 goals in that term. So at half-time, Brisbane are 16-9, leading West Coast 5 goals for. The margin, 71 points.
But, you know, they finished at the bottom of the ladder last year. Excuse me, Sandy. And, you know, they've got a good opportunity to get a home final here. That's what they're playing for today. And as I'm speaking to you at the moment, we've got this black cloud just about to hit the Gabba. So get your raincoats on, I think, boys.
Well, you look after yourself. You sound as though you're coming down with the flu.
Well, yeah, 3 games a weekend, the old boys go, son. Looking forward to the second half. I mean, the Lions are playing just terrific football. And with West Coast, I mean, they just try to get back into this game by just getting the ball out of the middle. And, yeah, they got some experience in this side.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, though, Dipper, too. When you look ahead, it's a tough road for them. OK, they've got Collingwood at home next week. But then they play Essendon. They've also got to cope with the Bulldogs, and they've also got to cope with St Kilda before the end of the home and away. Brisbane, on the other hand, although they've only got 1 at home, have in order Port Adelaide, Fremantle, that's the one at home, Melbourne and Collingwood. So you can understand at this stage why they're looking very much not only at a top 4 spot, but at a minimum of 1 final in the northern state.
Well, their run is good as far as opponents go, but a lot of footy to be played for both teams.
Here we go then. Second half, 71 points the margin. It was 58 at a quarter time. All one-way traffic in that first term, and it was led by Keating out of the middle. Here he goes again. Takes it out and charges up towards Champion, who's with Jakovic. This time Glenn Jakovic supreme. Read it nicely. Goes back towards centre wing. They've just got to get something going. Fuster goes towards right half forward. Banfield sees it over the line with Lappin, who kicked a goal in the first quarter. And they've got to throw in.
And Sandy, it's just interesting to see how confident the Lions are in their centre bounce set up there with Keating in there. Chris Scott just took off as soon as the ball was bounced and ran 40 metres towards goal, and they did win it. He didn't get on the end of it, but they did win the bounce.
White, Matera, Mainwaring, down towards the forward line. Maybe they can start with one. Lawrence defends, but then he loses it. An opportunity now for Cousin to get the hand pass to Mitchell White. White from a standing start, pumps it high, and he gives them the start they want in this second half.
Well, White's now picked up 2 goals, 1 in the second and 1 here in this third, and the important one to start the second half. And it just shows his versatility. He's been a very good player at centre-half for them. Previous years been in the back line, but at centre-half forward, not only is he given mobility into that forward line, but he's marking. I mean, he's taken the most marks of the Eagles lineup. He is strong in that aspect.
First goal of the second half, Mitchell White, his 20th for the season. Keating again, this time no one running forward. In there is the captain in Voss, wrapped up by Matera, who's trying to work hard in the centre square.
As we see the Lions bench, Bo McDonald, Craig Lambert, Brett Voss and Craig McCraig.
That's interesting, and so Alistair Lynch must be out there for the first time, as Lawrence gives it back to Champion. This is where he sometimes runs into trouble. He gets away, runs his full distance, then kicks it very long. There's Malloy, backwards Stone. Stone, here's Lynch, into the action. Can't get it, Luke Power. Stone diving on it, want to be careful, he want to knock it out. And there's a free kick being paid, he didn't have possession, and that's Philip Reid. So Reid switches play, looking for Ben Cousins. Cousins trying to draw Huskus, doesn't. And then that's a poor kick from Cousins because there's no Eagles there. Lawrence steadies, short. Voss, Matera arrives late. Voss trying to soak a 50, he's not going to get it. Lynch standing inside the 50, wants it long. He's going to do battle with McIntosh. It's not going to make it. It's the Champion Jakovic battle. Jakovic, strong punch towards the boundary. Defensive side, played the percentages there. Dip up.
In the Eagles bench, we have Chad Morrison, Todd Holmes, Jason Ball and Rowan Jones.
Thrown in right, half forward, 105, plays 40. Champion and Jakovic, the latter soccers off the ground, down towards centre wing. Cousins got an awful bounce. They lock up Lawrence. Black in front of Lappin. If it sits, he can streak towards goal. Braun almost gets him. Forces the kick off the side of the boot, which is good. Lappin keeps going. We're a punt to the 244. See it over the line.
Just saw you Jason Ball sitting on the bench there, Sandy. It's game number 100, and milestones haven't been big for the West Coast Eagles this year. They lost on Dean Kemp's 200th, lost on Guy McKenna's 250th, and lost last week on Chris Mainwaring's 200th. And don't have milestones, Eagles.
Yeah, don't talk about them anyway. Oh, Power got flattened. They've still got possession. White, that clever little chip as only White can do, finds Chris Scott on the outer side.
They've come out and just continued to control the ball, the Lions. Their centre bounce, I think it's been 1-1 in this particular quarter, but just their surety of the use of the ball here, even when there's a spill through the body contact there, they have the numbers around, and then Darryl White just so exquisitely spots Scott.
One of the few that hasn't kicked a goal to date, and still hasn't. Michael Voss booted 3 in the second quarter. 106 plays 40.
And he really was the key there, wasn't he? He had 9 disposals himself. There was Lepic who got into the party. The Eagles came forward a few times. I think he was very pleased to see them come down, Lepic. But he's had 8 disposals in that second quarter. Everyone's in for a touch.
Bellotti off to the running Matera. In towards half forward. That was better. Mitchell White to Chad Rintoul. He should finish it off with a goal from 48 metres. He's away to the left slightly. Be disappointed with that. Had the open goal beckoning and couldn't take advantage of it.
And Big Cousins was running into an open goal there, so maybe Rintoul should give the handball away.
Come on, lock it in!
Yeah, it really becomes hard for the Eagles now. Is that you become a little bit concerned about your own individual performance and start to look to create stuff for yourself. And yeah, Rintoul overlooked the Cousins' opportunity.
Keating went early, spills over the back to Mainwaring. Does well, poise, bangs it back in. It's 3-on-1, and they swamp little Philip Matera. Now, Mainwaring did well to get clear and balance up, but just kicked it high to a small player. And the Lions defenders there just coming, as you can see. Scott, Huskus and Kennedy was also there. Very hard for Philip Matera there. He's a crummer, not a marker. Down in front now. His brother and Peter just trying to force it forward. Simon Black goes back. 10 possessions in the second quarter for the hard-running Black. It's not a good kick, though. And Mainwaring now a chance to atone. Mitchell White? Perhaps no. Cummings and Lepic. It's been all Lepic in that duel. He's going to send it in there again. High ball, pack form. Getting at the front spot was Lepic. It falls to Metropolis. That's a clever kick. That'll get there. Almost. White getting back, but it felt as though it was going to bounce through on that angle. Darryl White, again, with the anticipation to get back. The Eagles doing most of the attacking in this third quarter. But the scoreboard still tells the story. of the Lions' dominance here at the Gabba on this cloudy Sunday afternoon.
White to Huskus. Tucked in the back pocket, and Dean Kemp just being brought back to give him a little bit of space. So he heads to the outer side. With domination continuing. White starting to pick up possessions at will as well in front of the Social Club. But you'd imagine to be rocking tonight. Chris Scott at halfback. He's got Lepic on this side of the ground. Cousins is after him. Cousins is a real goer. He's a flash. Gives it to Phil Matera. Delightfully done. Matera goes in towards the forward line, and the mark taken 30 metres out by Bellotti to have a shot.
And very good work there by Ben Cousins. He was out to create something. The Lions perhaps getting a little bit cute across the back line, tossing the ball from one side of the ground to the other. And when the last kick towards Lepic didn't hit its mark, Cousins was the one to be able to swoop on it and look to create something for the teammate.
Came from Port Hedland into Claremont and has kicked it behind for the West Coast Eagles. Just his 15th game. 6-7. So they've added 1 goal, 3 in this term. The Lions just are behind. Lepic again. Gets underneath a big punt. Keating got a hand to it. Fuster. Well, Fuster's claiming it and he's being paid. So perhaps the big number 27 did. Huskus in front. Just chopping off the avenue of Scott Cummings.
Yeah, and Scotty Cummings just lacking a little bit of confidence there. He didn't attack the ball. He was more concerned with body work on Lepic. When he went back, Huskus then stood alone. Scott Cummings needs to return to what he does best, and that's just attack the football.
Champion down with the cramp, and who can blame him? He's been busy.
Certainly has. Now, this is where the Lions are mucking around with it again. They've gone sideways, but they're not making any headway. And again, but they've got out of it. Almost came undone. The Lepic handball now finds O'Brien, and he's away. Good chase, Matera. Didn't give up on it. Forced the wobbly old kick, but it finds Darryl White. You just get a feeling that Darryl may do something special before the end of the day. We're putting it now back in defence, where he spent most of this season. Short kick to Matera. Off goes Braun. He's got Rintoul. The Eagles running better now. Gets underneath that. One-on-one, Cummings and Lepic. Lepic, forced the ground. Cummings, caught.
Work.
Holding the ball. Good support by O'Brien. He came in to lend a hand there for Justin Lepic. And Scotty Cummings, well, he can't really... Nothing going his way today. He did well here to recover.
I thought he did well. It's a bit tough here, the call. I mean, where was the opportunity to get rid of the footy? Yeah. You know, I mean, he has to be given a chance to dispose of the ball. And in the opinion of the umpire, he ignored the chance. Well, I blinked and missed it.
Lawrence put himself under some pressure there, but here's the captain. Voss, his co-captain Lynch up forward, goes long. Keating is the target. Goes down the ground. Champion can't take the hand on the ball. May get another chance. He does. Fuster working hard to keep it in. Malloy flicks it forward. Here's another chance for the Lions. It spills to Lynch. He can't pick it up. Now he can. Left foot round the body. One behind. To Alastair Lynch, his first shot on goal.
So he missed all the warm-up in the first half, Alastair, and he's just now coming into tune with it. Johnson was sweating on it. It's good to see Alastair out there. I think there would have been a temptation perhaps to have played him at full-back and Lepic into the forward line, where Lepic has done well over the last couple of weeks, but Justin Lepic really is a consummate professional at full-back. He rebounds, he attacks the game for the Lions. He's the catalyst for what has been a wonderful display here today, and for what has really returned the Lions back up to the top of the ladder. He's the type of player who has had the most makeover effect from Lee Matthews in his coaching debut up here.
Keating winning well. Braun working hard. Black just finding himself a little passage with which to get through. Ashcroft, a blistering first quarter, picked up 19 possessions. Who can blame him for slowing down a little? Now 25. Thrown up on that outer side. That is the side that has suffered because of the rain. Lappin He's away with one bounce. It's a penetrating kick, but it's gone across the face of goal, and it skids over the line for a throw-in the right forward pocket. Champs has had a big day, kicked a goal in the first quarter. But he's certainly picked up his share of possessions, 14 to date. Malloy there to do the bullocking work if necessary. Luke Power there to kick a goal. Almost.
Now, I'm only a back pocket, but I'm not sure about the science on that type of a kick at goal there. Using the left foot, spinning at the ball, trying to get it to spin back on the off break. I would have thought the right foot would have been the preferred option there without any doubt at all. Just a little bit too cute again.
Lynch, send it forward. Into the danger zone again. Wirapunda in front of the pack. Malloy at the back tries to get a foot to it. White comes through and slams it into the post.
They keep the excitement going, don't they?
Well, he certainly does, doesn't
he just keeps hitting it and hitting it. And what impressed me about Darryl White, he's always playing as if the game's alive and the ball's there to be taken, and throws himself around. I think he's played over 50 games consecutively, and that's something that you can really build something around for a side.
Philip Reid has taken the short kick from McIntosh, gives it back to him, and now Wirapunda. Lions yet to score a goal in this third quarter. They've managed 4 behinds. They've done their fair share of attacking, but getting close. Jakovic now. Unsure. And then short, Mainwaring. Crowd saying that perhaps Jakovic had moved off his line, but Chris Mainwaring has it. That's a low, hard kick, a good one too to Braun. Eagles working it up slowly, maintaining possession. This is Mitchell White. That may come unstuck. It has. Johnson read the pass to Wirapunda. He's under some pressure now himself, but does well. To the applause of the Gabba crowd, he gives it back to O'Brien. Richard Champion is away. He's on the 50. Will he draw him and pop it over the top to Power? No, he's got Nigel Lapman further afield. He's got Luke Power. There's the little one on the ground, Terry, but this time it's a goal.
The Lions' run continues. Luke Power gets his second. The Lions, their 17th. Out of the middle, Cousins twisting, turning, dodging and weaving, loses it to Lawrence, but he'll go again. Cousins, don't worry. Lapham will chop it off first. A confident bounce in towards half forward. Marcus Ashcroft being held up by Mainwaring. Kicks in towards centre half forward. Lynch came steaming out. Black, a snap by the youngster. Goes across the face of goal and just sneaks in for one behind.
Black has been so good again. You just where he's impressive is really in terms of his centre bounce.
We've got a Sports Flash 2 coming up in just a moment. So keep an eye on that. But here is McIntosh. Trying to get onto a talk. Now, Jakovic is his target. Lynch is there with him, so Jakovic is forced to spoil. Trying to push it out the back door. That's okay. Reid had a bit of run. Goes down towards half forward. Good spoil by Kennedy. Almost went over the top of Mitchell White. Voss again. Loses it. Phil Matera. Onto the left foot. It's a wobbly old ugly punt, but it might suit Scotty Cummings. Can't get into this game today, but he should give them a goal. No! Zorba has put through a behind. And he can't believe it. One of the great names of Subiaco is Metropolis. And Matera's in the square there saying, now, come on, old chap, that could have been for me.
But it was that man there, Hart. He was just prepared to charge it down right to the last metre.
Play goes on. Voss on the end of the hand pass from Lambert towards the middle of the ground. Johnson's been pretty effective today. To half forward, Malloy and McIntosh hanging on to each other. McIntosh taps it forward almost to the advantage of Lynch, but Jakovic sneaks in. We've got a throw in, and we'll check on that Sports Flash. This is Paul Salmon at the Adelaide Oval running into Smart and out. So bad news for Hawthorn and Paul Salmon. More on that, of course, later in the day.
As the Eagles trying to go forward again, Kemp is there. The tackle spills to Huskis. Can he get a goal? Adam Huskis hasn't kicked one all year, and now he has! Adam Huskis.
18-14 plays 6-8. Fuster back in the middle. Up against Keating, who wins it to Lambert. Down to half forward. Smash, Rintoul, but he rides the bump nicely. Lawrence recovers well and does it with seeming ease. Getting through heavy traffic. Johnson and Lynch could have raffled it. Johnson, a little worm-burning daisy cutter. Lappin, very clever. Keating, Lambert, they're tossing this one around, maybe too clever, and they lose it. Braun, Matera and co. Bamfield will get them out of trouble. Bamfield goes onto the left foot, up towards half forward as that black cloud threatens above. Lepic, caught, pushes clear to Huskis. In trouble, proper old hand pass. Look out, O'Brien. Slaps it over the top towards Huskis again. It's a wobbly ball. Gets it onto the right boot, but it's wide. It's wide, and it's out of bounds on the full.
Mick Malthouse. Things really haven't changed for him since the first quarter.
Just 2 weeks ago, they were sitting on top of the ladder.
Amazing, isn't it? This will be 3 in a row.
Yep. It's a rare occurrence for the Eagles.
Keating in the spot. Play on as the call. But he had time to just give it to O'Brien. Kennedy decides to just hop around the forward line for a while. Lambert enjoying himself being back on the ground.
Yeah.
Malloy's going to come late with McIntosh. McIntosh reads it beautifully. A wonderful fullback that he is. Here's Jakovic now. Taking on Lappin. Beating him. Good kick to Mitchell White. Kennedy had left him. White, beautiful pass. He's a class act, Mitchell White. His ability to get free and then quickly play on. And now Metropolis to perhaps atone for that mistake with Sean Hart earlier on.
Well, that was as clean a use of the football as the Eagles have had nearly all day. They came directly down through the centre of the ground. More often than not, the Lions have forced the Eagles to go wide. That was as good a build-up they've had. They need the reward of the goal.
45 metres directly in front. He's missed again. So, a couple of opportunities there for Metropolis.
Dean Kemp now off the ground for the Eagles, and Rowan Jones has now got the job of picking up Sean Hart.
Margin at three-quarter time was 71 points, now at 77. So just creeping ahead once again.
Lappin and Lawrence leading in disposals this quarter with 5 apiece. Fuster caught to Mitchell White through Banfield. Ashcroft in a spot of bother, but he's picking himself up slowly. We'll keep an eye on him. Huskis, twisted out and tried to give it to Hart. He lost it. Ball up on half forward. Jason Ball playing game number 100, itching to get back out there again. After making his debut in '92, coming from Swan Districts, Keating down the throat of Voss. Sits nicely for Kennedy. The hand pass put his teammate under the pump, but they got runners everywhere. Now that's what you call a bit of fancy work from Lambert. I think he'd be looking at Matthew Lloyd. And here he goes again. Lambert in towards the forward line. Over the top he goes. Malloy, he'll have to soccer. But he can't get a decent angle, and it's pushed over the line in the right forward pocket.
So Richard Champion, he deserves the spell. He'd been very good early in the game. He has set the game up for the Lions with his work at centre half forward. He created a contest, but also ensured there is an enormous amount of space for the small players to work into and run on and goal. A 10-goal first quarter. He was the catalyst in that.
Lappin can't keep it in, runs it over.
We understand, we saw in our sports flash a short time ago, Paul Salmon clashing with Smart at Football Park. Salmon has come off the worst for wear with a fractured cheekbone, so that could just about be the end of his season. Disappointing finish for the big man who's done so much for Hawthorn since crossing over from Windy Hill. Here's O'Brien on half back. towards right half forward. Little loop power takes it. Yeah, there's some depth in this club now, and it's very, very promising. The Voss boys in tandem. Now, up towards Malloy with his bullocking streak. Could have been some holding on. Fans certainly thought so. Play goes on. Johnson, an interesting hand pass to Lappin. He's not out of it yet. Swings around, straight up and down. No one able to take a mark. Play on is the call. Back it comes once again towards Voss. Couldn't take it. Here's the skipper. The bouncing ball. Oh, Johnson. Can't get it. Goes again. And Matera asks the question. Oh, golly. I think they thought a goal was scored there on probably 3 or 4 occasions. In the end, nothing but a free kick to Peter Matera.
Gee, I thought Chris Johnson already marked it down. It's ball from Keating. Knocks Lambert out the way to get hold of the ball. Reid knocks him out of the way. He keeps it in. They're really trying anything at the moment, Lions, and why not with the total the way it is. Powers kicked forward towards Lappin. He dives on it. Brett Voss over the ball, knocks it out. 2 or 3 lines here. One of them is Sean Hart, and he kicks the goal. Took him a while, but they got it. Sean Hart's
Goal number 1 to Sean Hart. Cricket score mounting up here. And still a couple of minutes remaining. Look at Voss. He'll pump this long down towards half forward. Chopped off by Bellotti. Wider to Wirrapunda. 128 plays 45. Rintoul on the outer side. Heads towards centre wing. Stone spent considerable time on the bench. Peter Matera has been the leading kick winner this quarter for the West Coast Eagles. There was a poor kick by Stone, and the turnover has been caused. Ashcroft going short to Lawrence. This is where they sometimes get in trouble. Matera, Phil, pulls it too far.
This is a situation also, Sandy. The West Coast Eagles now realising they're going to chip it across short. They're ready for it, and they're forcing the error.
Yep.
But unable then to nail the goal.
Yeah.
I mean, so you really look at the Eagles' performance here today. Their skill level hasn't been what you'd expect from them at all. They've had opportunities there to steal the ball at half-back and convert it with a goal, as that one was there. Phil Matera generally will nail those. He's most accurate and active around that area, but not on this occasion.
Rob Wiley and Mick Malthouse working overtime in the coach's box. Still a couple of minutes left in this quarter. Chris Scott, good game for him. 15 kicks, 3 hand passes, 8 marks.
Yes, the 1998 best and fairest. Enjoying it. Keating almost got that. Jason Ball caught by Voss. Can't get clear. Lambert in there also. Ball up. Umpire coming in to say it didn't really have a chance there. Peter Carey is the skipper.
Just a great tackle there by Michael Voss. Has held the ball to Jason Ball's stomach. Just couldn't get rid of it.
Tipper, it's getting pretty dark out there, isn't it?
Very dark.
Yeah, the lights may have to come on here at the Gabba, I think. With that
I might have to take my sunglasses off as well.
It's a good
Don't do
idea.
that.
Okay, we're back with the action, and it's Michael Voss once more. His handball a little bit too fierce. Matera gets it forward, fortuitously. Lands in the arms of Todd Holmes. I think that was Holmes as he kicks it forward, and he kicks it long, and he kicks a goal. That's a terrific kick from there. It's actually Brendan Fuster.
Brendan Fuster, but just a couple of goals to the West Coast Eagles in this quarter. 2 goals, 6 in fact. Ashcroft can't shrug the Matera tackle. Rintoul in for assistance. Lappin giving chase. Still he goes. Matera soccers off the ground. Gee, that's a big kick too. Just about out on the full. And it is. As Dean Kemp sits there disconsolately looking on, Justin Leppich will bring it back. Just on a minute remaining. Chris Scott. Oh, gee. The number of times they've got themselves into strife down in that forward zone with some short, tricky stuff, and it may cost them a goal. This is Chad Morrison. It does. Morrison gets his first and becomes only the 6th goal kicker for the West Coast Eagles.
Well, there's no doubt that that goal had to come for the Eagles, because as you can see, Lee Matthews, you'd be most upset by the way in which the Lions have repeatedly messed around with the ball across half-back. In the first quarter, they did it, but they were far more crisp at what they did. They were surer, and it ended up with something. Here they've messed up, and it had to occur. Morris's goal.
2 in a row to the Eagles, and unhappy Lee Matthews of the way that they've come about. Jason Ball to do battle with big Clark Keating. Well done by Ball, wins it. Lappin under pressure, just tries to build it forward. Voss, brilliant.
Gee, that's good.
He is brilliant. Kennedy, whoops, that's not the way to do it. Out in front of it, Brett Voss now, under some pressure. He's not going to get around Stone. Get some support in Hart. Again, the Lions trying to be a little bit fancy. Hart and Power both working together, knock it over for a ball in. So 70 points the margin, 71. Which, as it was at three-quarter time, Lee preparing to come down. He thinks this third quarter's over as Keating knocks it forward.
Good
work
Scotty
there
Cummins is off the
Cousins.
ground, boys, and he's gone straight up into the room, so we'll keep an eye on that one.
Banfield's kick. Kennedy come forward. White waited for it. Did well. Touch of class about Mitchell White. Not so that from Banfield. Lambert, trademark handball from him. Lappin to the run of Chris Scott. Low and hard. It's a good kick. Malloy can't get it. Lynch, clever. Power, first at it, underneath Jakovic. But there's the three-quarter time siren. So not much happening on the scoreboard for the West Coast Eagles. 3 goals apiece in that third quarter to both sides. And Mick Malthouse looking on.
71 points the margin at half-time. At three-quarter time, 71 points. We'll take a break.
On Today Tonight.
Sunday afternoon football coming away on 7. The Lions are looking for a big one. 19-14, 128. West Coast 8-10, 58.
7 Sport hope you're enjoying this match as part of the 1999 Coca-Cola AFL Premiership season.
A couple of other big games being played today. Carlton, Collingwood, Adelaide and Hawthorn. If you don't want to know the scores in those games, look away now because with the action in those remaining 2 games. 70 points the margin here at the moment as we take a break. So just about set to go then for this final quarter as Michael Voss leaves the pack. He's been very, very good today. You're looking at best players, Terry. You certainly have to look at Michael Voss as one of them.
Yes, we are looking at him. He's had 22 disposals, 4 marks, 3 goals too, and those 3 goals were all in the second quarter when the game really had to be won. Into the forward line. He's going to start down that forward line once again. He has been most impressive once again, Michael Voss.
Well, we mentioned it was getting pretty dark here at the Gabba. In fact, the lights have gone on during the three-quarter time break. So the Eagles will be looking to come home with a bit of a wet sail and to put some respectability onto this scoreboard. And the Voss boys will be looking to bury them. Brett's kick goes down towards the forward line. Chopped off by Reid. He comes across half-back. Comes wide towards centre wing. Couple of runners here. One of them is Cousins. Going with him is Banfield, but it's Cousins who takes the kick up towards right half forward. No mark taken as Husker spoils Fuster. Then he gives it to Scott, who's been very good. Chris Scott back towards centre wing. Darryl White still looking for something extraordinary from him today. He's threatened as Rintoul back to Cousins. Eludes 1, eludes 2. Around McRae he goes. McDonald should have held it. Lambert did. Then he gave it away to Ashcroft. Can't chop the tackle of Matera. Should have almost been holding the ball. It was a great tackle. But the umpire decided in his wisdom to come in and have a bounce.
I agree with you there, Sandy. I thought Peter Matera did everything he had to. He was tackling from behind. He didn't push into the back of Chris Scott. He just let his weight drop to the ground. The umpire should have awarded that one.
McDonald now with the punch forward. Black slaps it back towards Brett Voss. He goes underneath, holds it up, and it'll be another ball up.
Scotty Cummins still off the ground. Looks like he might have a torn hamstring, so he's just sitting this game out now.
Thanks, Tipper. He did join the three-quarter time huddle very late, coming back in as Chris Scott, who's had a fine game, gets the kick forward. Clever work by Hart just to force it back towards his teammates there. Again, Brett Voss gets at the bottom.
Tell you what, that'd be the last thing I'd want is to lose Scotty Cummings for a few weeks with a hamstring.
Well, the AFL's leading goal kicker.
And for the Eagles, we've got Dean Kemp, Michael Braun, Scotty Cummins, as I mentioned, and Rowan Jones on the bench.
McDonald with ball. Matera has been in the match this second half. Kennedy should have perhaps taken clean possession. Free kick advantage paid to Morrison. Morrison's kick up towards the goal square. Metropolis with Lawrence. Lawrence with a little bit of strength to force it over. The encouragement of his teammate Justin Lepage. At West Coast Eagles.
And for the Lions, Matty, we've got Richard Champion, Chris Johnson, done a lot of work, these two. Clark Keaton, of course, and who's played really well, and Nigel Lappin on the bench.
Not a bad bench there for the Lions. McDonald to O'Brien. He's wrapped up by Fuster, going nowhere.
Young O'Brien, he's the grandson of Alan Edwards, who played in the Bulldogs 54 premiership side. So some pedigree coming through there.
O'Brien caught on this occasion. Huskus around the body in front of Hart and Mainwaring, both who get pretty average bounce. Almost a full house here today at the Gabba. This is the second last chance they'll get to see the home side in action before the finals begin, and they'll certainly be hoping for one of those. The way they played today, here's Ashcroft getting it away to Big Bo. The way they played today, they could get at least one. Luke Powell from Bo up towards the forward line. Champion's been very good. Michael Voss has been superb. McIntosh straight to the line. Throw it in, says the umpire, and that's umpire Martin Ellis. Bossy says, you've got to be kidding. Ashley, cool hand, Luke. that wasn't too subtle, Ashley. That's near too subtle.
Free kick.
And now...
blood drill. Mitchell White back here, the blood drill.
Way back in the middle. So Mitchell called out by umpire Chris Mitchell.
And Sandy, you can see how Peter Carey moved
well.
over, and now the emergency umpire will pick up Mitchell White just to ensure the player does move directly off the ground, because there had been early in the year players just wandering and taking far too long to get off, because the commitment is to wait till the player coming onto the ground is into the position required before they restart the game. Far too much time was spent doing that earlier on in the year, and they've tightened that rule up.
So throw it in the left forward pocket. In the Lions' attacking zone. Gee, Black tried to come over. Now look at him apply that tackle. The desperation has been quite fierce. Voss, Lambert, Peter Matera in there as well for the West Coast. And a ball up just inside 50. There's Matera. He's certainly tried hard today. Picked up 15 kicks, 8 hand passes. Slapped towards the line. McRae, Wirapunda. Gee, that bounced just inside for young David. Forcing another throw in. There's the fly giving chase. Keeping the pressure on is McRae. McDonald jostling for front spot. Matera, a fresh air shot. Banfield, the hand pass falls to Lambert. High onto the left foot. Into the pocket. Wirapunda got a fist to it. And the Brisbane Lions boys almost jostling with one another. Voss, Malloy and co. That's the enthusiasm that's in this club at the moment.
And when Malloy hits you, I mean, Michael Voss very strong as we know, but Molly just came through and just barreled him over. But back with Cousins, he's happy to see it over the line. Another boundary throw in. 70 points still the margin. The West Coast Eagles winning that third quarter by the solitary behind. There's Big Jared. Enjoys the physical side of this great game. White to McRae around the body. Kennedy up forward. Djakovic again over the line. And another boundary throw in the same spot.
When we look at the quarter-time lead of some 58 points to the Brisbane Lions, in some regards, I think the crowd's a little bit disappointed that they haven't been able to go on with it. They've only now stretched out to the 70-point mark.
Make that 76, Terry. Jared Malloy kicks his 4th goal, 3rd goal.
And his 4th, so good day for him up forward. 2 in the first term, 1 in the second, and now that one as McDonald goes for a slap in the middle. Lambert was held, he didn't have it. He's got it now. Thinks about Brett Voss, but then goes a little more directly towards home. Fly McRae was his target. It's chopped off, however. Away scoots Rintoul. The former Crow has a couple of bounces, goes down towards a right half forward, and the mark taken there by Jones. Well, he'd like to forget that. Disappointment for young Rowan Jones, still just 19 years of age and just starting out his career. It's all ahead of him as Lawrence has it in the back pocket. Scott, beautifully done. A Norwich Rising Star winner, a club champion. And a mark dropped by Bellotti. The door opens for McRae. Here comes Malloy. By G, he's built like a cat D9. In towards half forward, a centering kick. Michael Voss twists out of trouble. Cousins is lurking, but he can't get a run on it. Lambert launches himself. McIntosh, a fresh air shot. The umpire's letting play go on. Hart gives it to Ashcroft. He could kick a goal. Marcus goes for home, and he's done it. Sensational play, sensational team play by the Brisbane Lions.
Darryl White in amongst it again. He just has his second effort here. Voss tries the spin, couldn't out. Watch White here. Just the flick on out. Then there's a chance, but up he comes for the second effort, and the tackle there on McIntosh. McIntosh was away, so White rebound to Ashcroft, capping off a fine game for Ashcroft. 30 disposals.
2 goals, 2 to Marcus Ashcroft. And Terry, we talk about Darryl White. We talk about the great things that he can do, the spectacular things, but his teammates know that he does a lot of the hard things, the chasing, the tackling. He's a wonderful tackler. He's had a good afternoon. 12 goal scorers for the Lions. We talk about where their goals are going to come from. They don't know themselves, but they do spread it around as Cousins hooks it back. Diving mark was Chad Morrison. 82 points is the margin. Morrison goes further afield to Matera. He gives it back inboard to David Wirpunda. Short kick is good. Holmes. He again goes across the ground. Now he's missed Ben Cousins. No, Chad Rintoul. Lepic applies the tackle a little bit late because Rintoul really didn't have it when he tackled him, but Ashcroft's away. 31 to Black. Make that 32 now. Will he go short to Malloy? No, he's got Kennedy. Kennedy's inside 50. On his wrong leg, the left boot. Hooks to the top of the square. Going back is Lynch, but going back well is Glenn Jakovic, and Jakovic takes the mark and clears to the outer side.
140 plays 58. 82-point margin. That could almost be 50 to Mainwaring, but no. The veteran 200-gamer. Made his debut way back in 87. Been fantastic for this club. This is Huskus, caught by a 100-gamer in Jason Moore, off to Hart. High ball back towards the centre. Black stands his ground. Does it beautifully. Lambert surges down the ground. He gives it to another youngster in Luke Power. Power chips away at goal. And probably would have liked to have done a little better than that.
It's 2 goals, 3 to Luke Power this afternoon. And he really does create enough opportunities across the forward line, have some shots at goal. As I mentioned earlier on in the telecast, he missed some opportunities last week down at Waverley against St Kilda and seemed to lack some confidence in having a go at
Bar McDonald's been taken off the ground, boys. He's not looking too good here.
See how he is, Deb, and we'll come back to you. In the meantime, from that kick out, ball goes down, so to Lambert, but he comes out with it to Darryl White. White from a standing start. That's a penetrating bomb into full forward. That's a mark to Lynch. That is a mark.
And I think this is where he's going to be of best value to the Lions as they make the run into the final series. It's going to be able to, coming off the bench as he's done today, take the goal square and be able to take these strong marks.
Lynch looking to become the 13th Lion to score a goal today, and he's done it. That's a big effort.
Lynch, and don't discount the fact we may get more than 13 goal kickers. Still plenty of time left in this last quarter. 89 points. Keating back in the ruck with McDonald off the ground. Just tries to force it out towards Brett Voss, but good strength from Matera and Mainwaring. Two experienced players there. Hold it up.
We had Beau McDonald leaving the ground, and this might tell us why. Ooh.
Now, are they looking at his knee or his ankle?
His ankle, Matty. They're just testing it.
So, McDonald in trouble with an ankle, but Simon Black certainly isn't, as he kicks up towards Lynch. Just sheer strength from Lynch there. Ashley McIntosh, as we know, is a wonderful fullback in a one-on-one situation. As McDonald with getting some attention there from the club doctor. But Alastair Lynch, with strength, takes the mark. He'll kick from about 40 to 45 metres. The angle shouldn't be a problem. The execution, perhaps, being the problem, and he's failed to score. Not happy with himself, so McIntosh gets a chance to put the West Coast Eagles back into play. He's been under siege today, Ashley McIntosh. The ball coming down at a rate of knots in the first quarter. He must have wondered what was happening. He's gone the long kick. Keating against Fuster. Fuster does well. Just nudged Keating out of the way, took the mark. Not many options, though, for the West Coast Eagles. There's no flow on here. Stop start. Chips to the middle where Drew Banfield has dropped the mark. Clever kick, though, Banfield. Out there is Lupalotti. He goes inside the 50 now. Kennedy punches well with the left arm. Metropolis tries to keep it in. He does so. Good handball back there to Mainwaring. Quick hands the ball. Ball now around the body. High ball. Won't make it. There's two Lions there. And Adam Huskis takes the mark.
You're right, it was a high ball.
Certainly.
So the Lions out of trouble towards Malloy, who gives away a little height advantage there to Fuster. And slapped over for a throw-in.
Been just such a fine all-round performance from the Lions, hasn't it? Whereas for the Eagles, I think Peter Matera has worked solidly all day. Mitchell White, at times at centre-half forward, has given something for them, but from there it's really falling down, and a single vote for the Lions, I can't find it.
And Terry, as we see Houston's kick back towards Malloy, I think what we're starting to see is the, look at that, great work by Malloy to open a path for Lambert. But the versatility in this Brisbane outfit now, and the depth, there's plenty of both.
Well, Michael McLean spoke before the game, didn't he, Sandy? How it's just sending 18 players out to combine as a unit, and that's what they've done so impressively today.
Black's been very good, and he finds Lynch. He's a long way from home, but he'll set it up for someone. Voss has got strength, but it drops down into that hole. And the old warhorse, Chris Mainwaring, takes it at fullback. Well, if it was a long trip coming over for the West Coasters, dare I suggest it may be even longer going back, because there'll be a little bit of soul-searching to be done. Pete Matera, almost down to the wing. Wants Mitchell White. Morrison through, but without it. O'Brien could have gone inboard to Scott. Elects to go even further. Look now, Dazza. Here he goes. Darryl White, the hand pass to Black. White goes down. Lambert remains up. Sees a couple of players out of the corner of his eye. Almost goes laterally. Lawrence to Hart. Scott's there with him. Hart goes with a big bomb up towards full forward. At the back was Lynch. Michael Voss put it down for the captain. 4 goals to Voss.
Final quarter of the Lions, the West Coast Eagles, no score. So from Lee Matthews' point of view, he'll be very happy that his side is now continuing on. That brilliant first quarter. Fantastic football as Keating punches it forward. It'll sit for Jakovic. It does. To Morrison. Off one step. It's an ugly kick. Lepic been dominant there. Back to White. Here's a chance for Metropolis. Metropolis gets smothered. Here's a chance now for Matera. He goes inside 50. He touches it on the ground. He's tried very hard all day, and he's got some reward. Second goal to Peter Matera against the flow, but he hasn't given up, Terry.
No, he hasn't. He's clearly been the Eagles' best player here this afternoon. It was a tough opening for him. His entire side was under siege, but he maintained his attack on the ball. And here he is here. He's asked to do it alone. That deft little balk that we so often see from Peter Matera. He's had 18 kicks, 9 handballs, and now 2 goals. Clearly the best Eagle.
Peter Matera won in the first term. And now that one. He's one who's given his all today. Ashcroft has picked up yet another possession as he tumbles that punt down to half forward. Reed still going. Oh, he runs into Brett Voss. Sensationally stolen by Voss. He snaps at goal. It deserved a goal.
Sandy, good news on Bo McDonald. He's back on his feet, ankle okay, so could see him back on the ground very shortly.
That is good news. Voss would be furious because he's one of the few that hasn't kicked a goal today. To be absolutely furious with himself. McIntosh. And Glenn Jakovic. I'm interested, Terry, in what you think Mick would take out of this game. Do you virtually concede, well, I've been blown out of the water in the first quarter. You just put this one down and forget it? I mean, you can't really do that, can you, when it's your 3rd straight loss?
No, not when it's your 3rd straight loss. It's really been a hammering that they've copped over the last couple of weeks. They lost to Richmond at the MCG and then the embarrassing one against Fremantle last week. This is tough for him.
Well, it's actually interesting that they haven't actually beaten a side in the top 8, Terry, since round 8 when they defeated Adelaide. So against the top sides, they have struggled.
Yes, very interesting, Matthew.
And when they have won, Matt, it has been Cummings and Phil Matera. I mean, they've been quite dependent on those two as scorers in their wins, and they've been very well negated by a unit of defenders here from the Lions.
I've never seen a bloke sit on a stat for so long and so excited about getting it out. Well done, mate. I thought you were going to forget it. Down to the half-forward line, over there to Malloy. Jakovic leads in the race. Malloy's got him. He has got him. A tired McIntosh gives chase, and again, he's more than happy to see it over the line. Under 7 minutes remaining. A percentage builder. They've already got a darn good percentage of the Brisbane Lions, so this can only enhance their finals prospects. Rintoul across half-back. Comes back towards centre wing. Wants the 100-gamer in Jason Ball. With him is Kennedy. Ball leads in the race. Got very little support, however, and he just takes it towards the line. As we said, next week, West Coast play host to Collingwood at the Wacker. Brisbane, on the other hand, well, this is no easy job. They journey to Football Park and Port Power, who look as though they're going to feature in the finals as well. Morrison towards White. Plays on to Zorba Metropolis. Puts them just inside 50, and the mark taken by Holmes. Swings around onto the left foot. He's going for broke. Going in towards Phil Matera. Got a hand to it. Mainwaring is there with him. It was a 2-on-1, and the one virtually won. Robbins it was, not Matera. Get it, Cousins. Where'd they pluck Robbins from? It's getting late on a Sunday, and it's round 17. Have a crack at that, Matty.
Good desperation by Steve Lawrence. The boundary throw in. White going nowhere, wrapped up by Chris Mainwaring. They're helping him up. 90-point margin. I wonder what that might pay on the footy sports bet or whatever it is.
Someone will probably be aware of that. It'd be Dipper, but he may be checking it as we speak.
Another ball up. Kennedy looking for the boundary.
$5.25.
Thank you very much, Dipper.
But, I mean, the Lions are back to round 1. Round 1, they kicked their best score for the season, where they kicked 23-14, 152, and won by 89 points against St Kilda. Now it's out. They've improved that by 90.
Well, Cousins going to make a dent in it. No, he's not.
No.
Justin Lepic. We saw Bo McDonald back on the ground. That is good news. But Justin Lepic has certainly had a day where everything's gone right for him. Short kick to White.
Bo McDonald back Keating off, Matty.
Just having a chat on the phone. As Marcus Ashcroft for number 35. We thought perhaps 50 might have been in danger early in the afternoon. Darryl White going long. Power goes to ground, gets the free kick for in the back against Reed. Luke Power. Some say he looks like Darren Beedman. You can make up your own mind from that shot there. Kicks it towards Lynch. Good punch from McIntosh, the 211s. Voss, that's Brett Voss, goes to ground. Mainwaring underneath all that, trying to force it out, but Brett Voss goes for another go at it. Make that 3. So perhaps a little bit unlucky 2 weeks ago to be dropped, Brett Voss. He was beginning to be a part of this team and feel as though he belonged at this level. And he's done nothing today that suggests that he doesn't.
Hard team to get in, though, when you consider that Ackermanis was a withdrawal. Bradshaw knocking on the door. I mean, this is a very good squad of players. Matthew Clark with a hand.
And Brad Boyd are the other 3 major injuries who over the next month will be just about back in town.
Brad Boyd, the question mark. Clark is definitely coming back, and Brad Scott maybe with his arm, but Brad Boyd is a bit of a question mark at the moment.
Lambert, Ashcroft, Black. 3 prolific ball winners. And that's a good kick. A big kick in towards the forward line. McRae, Malloy, that's strength. Now, has he got the skill? Have a look at that one. Just to finish off a lazy Sunday at the Gabba.
Lions with their highest score of the season will certainly enjoy their Sunday evening. Good to see Bo McDonald back. Matera gets a hand on it. Cousins to Mainwaring, still running. Now, Lepich gets in front of Holmes and punches it down. A chance, it falls to Mitchell White. The clever Mitchell White kicks it, but just sprays it to the right for a behind. I guess from the crowd's point of view, they'll be thinking about the 100-point win, which is always a talking point from the crowd. And at the moment, it sits at 95 points. Justin Lepich. The signal. Looking for McDonald. Goes up early. Almost a high jump. Spills over the back to Rintoul. That's a handball in hope as it goes forward. Ashcroft doesn't take possession. Leaves it for Lambert. That's clever. White jinking and then kicking. Good punch by Wirrapunda. Solid there. Matera tackled when he didn't have it. Wirrapunda just slaps it back to Jakovic, and Jakovic goes short with a good kick. Jason Ball. He'll play on, and he goes short, but that's a bad kick. 3 Lions there. One of them, to the crowd's delight, is the toothpick, Big Bo McDonald.
Bo. I'll compromise the galloping hat rack. Kennedy on the outer side. Just playing down now with just over 2.5 minutes remaining. Big win for the Lions today here at the Gabba. And it's got to set them up for a September run. The Mitchell White hand pass is okay. Matera has done all I've asked of him, but that kick he'd be disappointed with. A tired kick goes down to Huskis. Could think about Scott, but instead Hart. Sean Hart's across half back in front of that new stand that's really on the outer side here at the Gabba, that's really starting to take shape. Lambert had such a wretched run with injuries. It's good to see him getting back in the fray again. Big Bo slaps it, but not very far. Ball couldn't take it. Huskis at the back. Sting's gone now. Hart gives it away to Dazzler. Here he goes. White's kick in towards full forward. 1-2 grabs. Voss caught one from his own teammate. Recovers, then loses it. Picked up by Wirrapunda. Hand pass around to Reed. Off to Matera. Matera thought about Bellotti, then decides to do it on his own. Couple of bounces. He's through half back, almost down to the middle. Chips, and it's a shocker. Straight down the throat of Lambert. Off to Ashcroft. It could cost them a goal. It could cost them a goal. Voss from a standing start. It does cost them a goal. And the lead is over 100 points. that tells the story. 5 goals to Michael Voss.
Well, that's got to be a career high to Michael Voss, 5 goals, and just the way in which he's just been able to lurk around that half-forward line. He's been allowed to do that because of the amount of possessions that others have won. Normally, when it's tough in close, Michael Voss has to go in the centre and do it all. Matthews has had the freedom this week of being able to allow Voss time in the forward line, and he's repaid his coach's faith with 5 goals.
Unbelievable performance this afternoon at the Gabba. It's 101 points. They're looking for more as Ashcroft goes forward once again, but getting in the way and cutting it off is Chadrin Toole. 38 possessions now to Marcus Ashcroft. Marvellous performance.
He might make the top 40.
With a bullet as Cousins chips it to the wing. Drew Banfield. Haven't seen a lot of Drew Banfield today. Just 11 possessions. Kick under pressure, but it's going to come off. And ball marks it. Plays on to Morrison. Oh! And Morrison keeps the 3 points, the 100 points alive. And don't the crowd love it. Right on 100 points now, the margin.
And you wonder where skill errors like that come from. In the third quarter, we saw Daniel Metropolis, running into open goal and was squeezed by Hart and missed what he should have got. The opportunity there for Morrison to do likewise. They just can't take a trick here today. And Mick, no, you can't be a happy camper with your side. 3 losses on the trot. It's a tough task now.
Well, the body language there says it all from Mick Malthouse. Lee Matthews will be very happy.
I think the roast will taste beautiful tonight. Goes up towards Malloy on centre wing. He's been very effective. This forward setup's been great. Marcus, possession number 39. 39 possessions for Ashcroft. A 100-point win, and let's just listen to this crowd for a moment. They're going nuts. Points the margin here at the Gabba. Big effort as let's go down to the ground. Dipper's down there.
Yeah, thanks very much, Sandy. Well, the man who's got 40 possessions today, well played, but what a terrific win by the boys today.
Yeah, they say it's an 8-point game this time of year, especially against the Eagles. Now we're in the top 4. Just got to hope we can consolidate the next few weeks and maybe even push up in the top couple.
You've been around a long time now, Marcus, and you're still going very, very well, but that first quarter today was just sensational.
Yeah, it really set us up. We knew we were pretty good in our second half, so if we got away to a really good start, we'd be pretty confident we went over the top of them in the second half, so it was just a real bonus to get away with such a good start. Take a long trip over here. We knew how hard it was after round 2, so we knew how important it was going to be.
And a bonus of having Keatsy back in the side in the middle, he's just set you up nicely.
Oh, yeah, it's good to have that sort of depth now. Even Bo McDonald came in and did really well. So Bo, Crackers, with Doctor come back, it's pretty exciting for us.
Thanks for joining us, mate, and well done.
Thanks, Dipper.
Excellent.
Yes, thank you, Dipper. And this is good to see the side saying thank you to all the fans. And good to see the West Coast boys too, waiting for all of their squad to get together. They'll go off as one. In the meantime, the Lions break free and thank the entire crowd.
Well, it's a day to remember for the people that have come along here today. A 100-point margin over the West Coast Eagles. They've been treated to an absolute brilliant performance.
There's Adam Huskus, had a huge day. Chrissy Johnson did his bit, a couple of early goals. There's the final scoreline, 25-16 to 9-12.